Hi, I'm Bob Magnuson, and this is another video podcast, a very unofficial video podcast, and it's called ReadWorks. And I've been focusing on some Theowani mouthpiece questions that some of my few fans have requested I answer some questions, which has been a real pleasure for me. Anyway, today, this is kind of an interesting one because I get these questions where people say, how do you make that Imbue mouthpiece sound like you do? I can't sound like that on it. It's a tough question, but let's be brave and look at what that really means. There's a word, the word is called imbue, to put something into it. In the musical case, we mean how to put yourself, as abstract as that is, put yourself into the saxophone, into the mouthpiece, into the reed, and express something that's within. How vague and metaphysical. But yet it's the true essence of expressing. How many saxophone players there are? Thousands, and everybody sounds slightly different. There are similarities, of course. But then there's like this David Sanborn sounded all close to Paul Desmond. What a drastic difference playing the same instrument called the alto saxophone. Okay, so now let me go on. Today I have a really dumb auto link mouthpiece. The opening is so small on it, it's ridiculous. I know you can't see it, but trust me. But it's for a demonstration purpose, okay? Now, to imbue something, to have something to put into something, you have to have a concept. You have to have something in your mind of what you hear so strongly that the equipment won't get in the way. I'll give you a real quick story. I used to spend time with Michael Brecker, the famous saxophone player, programming wind synthesizers with him. So when I'd show up, it would take a long time because back then we had floppy disks. So every time you saved a sound, it would take 30, 40 seconds, and then put another one, you need multiple disks. So what I would do is I would bring several mouthpieces, and I'd say, hey, Michael, I don't know if you want to try. So in between these disk saving data periods, he would try these mouthpieces. Now, what was so fascinating and a learning experience for me, his concept was so strong that no matter what mouthpiece he played, he sounded absolutely the same. Same intensity, same volume, same colors, but he would only remark that, yeah, it's a little harder. I have to push a little, he'd have to do something to get what he heard. See, he wasn't playing the mouthpiece to give him what he heard. He wanted the mouthpiece to give him freedom. Okay, so that's ideally what we want in a mouthpiece. Now, that gets a little heavy and stuff because most of us just want a functional mouthpiece and do the gig and go home. But you can enjoy the growth of being a saxophone player no matter what level you're on when you think about these conceptual things a bit. So every time you pick up the horn, you're thinking about something and it can translate. Now, here, I was just listening to Charlie Parker, okay? Now, I'm not going to say I sound like Charlie Parker, but the fact that I was listening to him, he was influencing me. So now that's a bit in my feeling of my mind right now. It's like, yeah, Charlie Parker. So I have this reed on here. Now listen, this mouthpiece doesn't play well. And I'm not exaggerating, but it doesn't sound like anything. But now, if I think of what I was just listening to, I can imbue it a bit. Listen. Even the sound, it's air. I'm moving air. And that's valid and musical and expressive. But still, the reed and the mouthpiece are not very good. Now, if I go to something like my Theowani mouthpiece, the same reed, you'll hear a difference because, again, I can bring the same concept to this mouthpiece. And this is the Imbue 6 mouthpiece. Okay, let me tell you the reed just so you know. This is a Van Doren V16 3.5. Now, of course, I tell you I work on these, so I do shave them down a bit. And that's a whole other thing. I've given videos on that. Anyway, one step at a time. So now, here's with the Imbue. And the thing we have to be aware of is that, before I play this, is that volume and resonance are two different things. Like on that other mouthpiece, there's a lot of resonance, a lot of color, a lot of air. Now, I record quite a bit, that's what I do. In recording, it's really great to record air. You can move pressure against the mouthpiece. Sometimes that blatant mouthpiece that's super loud records one dimension. Okay? So you can like different things, of course, but I'm just trying to bring attention to other colors that are inherent in saxophone playing and good saxophone playing. We don't always want to just go for an obvious loud sound. That's not always beautiful. Okay, so here's now the Mindio Bear. Okay, it's a little wilder, but I'm still doing the same thing I did on that other mouthpiece. Maybe this video can help you when you're choosing a mouthpiece, choosing a reed, and know the situation you're in too. You know, sometimes you need the loud mouthpiece because that's just what the gig asks for. But if you're playing a piano player in a small group, you might want another mouthpiece that is a little more controllable, where you can imbue something into it which is more of yourself. Sometimes when you have a mouthpiece that's just a real loud mouthpiece, it's hard to put those other characteristics in. I'm not saying have several mouthpieces, I do, but I like transferring different feelings into the mouthpiece. The outer link mouthpiece is a terrible mouthpiece, but when I play on it, it's like being a batter in the batter box with two bats. I play on that, it's so resistant. When I come to this, it's like, whoa! So it's a breath of freedom. Anyway, hope this video was helpful. Keep sending me your emails. Thank you. I'm Bob Magnuson. All the best.